about done. My name's Jason. I coach at Ellsworth High School the last 4 years. Made a little transition 4 years ago after coaching for 19 years at Black River Falls High School. So shared with some of you guys, you look familiar from the offensive set. So this is where we feel like we can get good at that short pass game, is getting the kids to catch the football a bunch. And I think very early I lived as a coach a great reason for just getting a lot of reps. I grew up, as I told you, with a wing T coach, both as a high school senior and then as I came back and I coached for the guy that I played for. And here's the play that I remember coming back, and I'm a 24-year-old, 25-year-old coach. I'm the receivers coach, but in a wing T, that doesn't really exist. So I'm coaching the ends and the running backs that might once in a while run a route. And coach had this play, 3 fakes, right pass left. Okay, so it's got a full house backfield. It is fake, 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 then another couple steps. Hopefully you don't get ambushed because your left end is gone, right? And your left end usually is running a corner route wide open down the field. So the first couple years, that got dropped, I'd say 2 times out of 3, and it was my fault because I was the receivers coach. I'd been a college receiver, blah, blah, blah. Coach, come on, what are you doing? You're not doing your job there. And I said, Warren, here's the deal. Finally, probably my second year when I had the balls enough to talk to him, tell him the truth, right? So if this was my end, I'd say, Coach, Chad here, this is Jack, but my end was Chad. We expect Chad to go run that corner route, catch the ball over his shoulder, arguably the toughest catch in football, okay? Under the Friday Night Lights. He's running all by himself, and I'm here to tell you, I know, Coach, you're not going to believe this, but as a receiver, the hardest ball to catch is when you're running wide open, okay? Because if you drop it, it's nobody's fault. So we're asking him to do that when during practice, we ask him to block 417 powers, okay? 35 sweeps, and pass block because his pass going the other way. He can't catch 4 balls a week, 6 balls a week, and then we expect him to make that catch. So he, God love him. He was listener, and I said, well, then you design a set of drills, and I'll give you some time at practice. And so that's kind of where this comes from. Now, dear Lord, let me tell you, he never gave me 18 minutes of practice. So, but I did get a few, and now that we've diversified our offense a little bit, what you see here today is largely, not all of them, but we pick and choose 6 to 10 of these a day that all of the kids are doing. And you'll notice that so many of them are just predicated on just catch, cap, block, just take care of the football with your hands, because if I'm running that play in recess, I'm running that cross, here's how I learned to catch the football. And if you're running that as they get older, well, you're losing ground now. As I jump, first of all, I'm probably going to get hit, versus catching that ball on the go. I'm running, I'm catching that ball on the go, and I'm getting upfield as quickly as I possibly can. So let me start with 2 fundamentals that we just go with on the kids, and you may have your own theories on this, and I'm all ears actually, but just hand position. So hand position with the ball above your waist is going to be with that triangle, okay? And if he brings it back to me, and it's going to be pinkies together if it's low. Notice how his hands are nice and spread. You want to jam his fingers, okay? And the other piece that we use, and I as simple as it might sound, if we've had any success catching the football, I attribute it to this. We just preach and preach, catch, cap, block, catch, cap, block, catch, cap, block. What I mean by that is, if he catches the football, he's going to catch, cap it, lock it. He did it slow so we could see it. Okay, it's a quick catch, cap, block, and then you notice where my head went. Look to lock. So for example, when the special teams are on the field, we're returning a punt or a kickoff, that's where I am. Catch, cap, lock, look to lock, catch, cap, block, look to lock, and we've had pretty good success with that. So we talk about those things, and then we get to our drill work. So we open up with what we call a pole drill. So if I could get, you want to just toss me this ball real quick around here. I don't have a pole here. So at your field, promise the last thing I'll ask if you just watch. But so if this were a pole, okay, all I'm going to do is have my receivers line behind me, put your shoulders on the pole, arms around it, and just toss it. Be a nice one, like not hurt him. Yep. And I'm going to catch, cap, lock that thing. I'll do it high, do it medium, do it low. So even though I got my hands around you might throw that thing low, and I'm going to have to turn and catch that thing. And it'll be bouncing around a little bit. It's going to hit the pole, but it forces the kids to catch the football with their hands. And the next thing we'll do is, I think, let's go this way, Jeff, so you don't run into that. So we just call these our Jerry Rice drills. Just way. So this is just a series. We'd have a line of kids. We don't have to run them to death because right now our goal is catching the football. Okay, I don't want them tired necessarily. I want them catching the football and focused on catch, cap, lock, and the specific thing that I want them to do. So the first thing would be high point the football. How many times do we see it, right? They're running, and they're going to catch it. Here comes that free safety, who is one of the best athletes on the field, and he knocks it out. So we want to teach him a high point. Okay, go. So I'm just going to throw it high. He wants to go with the football with a very good pass. Do another one of those. Okay. Doesn't have to sprint. He's going to jog out. We'll throw it high. As quickly as he can get it, he goes to get it. Okay? Then we'll have a little bit of fun. I don't teach a one-hand catch by any stretch, but I do think strengthening each hand is beneficial. Okay, so don't cheat. Okay, so he's going to jog out, outside hand first. Just get it to that outside hand. He's got to catch, pull it away with his one hand. Try to make him put it away before I put that other hand on it. This is probably the more challenging one. Want to make this a nice, easy pass. Inside hand's kind of tough. You know, and for little guys, you know, honestly, I still think you can do all this. Take a knee for a little guy. Jog out. It's a nice thing to do something with, you know. Even if he's got to toss it to me nice. Inside hand, even if you got to do something like this where he's got to bubble it around, just get him used to that football. Okay, it's kind of like dribbling a basketball. You know, there's nothing better than just dribbling the basketball, and that repetition is what teaches. Excuse me. So, last thing of this piece would just be now you maybe go 3/4 speed on this. Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't do back shoulder. Back shoulder. So first we're going to jog out. Two hands now. I'm going to throw it his back shoulder. He's got to turn and catch the football. And this is where you help get him into those. So you've done the one-hand thing, and now you want to make a distinct change and say, all right, now we're going to throw behind you, but I don't want you trying to make some Randy Moss catch, whoever they're watching now. Okay, you want to make the two-handed catch and put the football away. Okay, so if I throw back shoulder, whatever he's got to do to turn, if he's got to turn all the way around, but teach him to catch the football. And then finally, just go ahead and purposely throw him a bad ball. Could be behind, could be low, could be right up here. He's got to come back for it. So just have some fun with the bad ball drill. Questions? We'd have a line of kids there. Like I said, they're not dying out there at all, but so you can really get on them to hustle. You're jogging out so you can hustle back. Is there any question about that? Turn drill, Jackie. Turn drill. So our turn drill, similar to the idea of catching the ball with your hands, getting away from recess football, is when you run routes as they get older. And I know it's tough for the young ones, but you're going to get there with them sooner than later. If I'm running a hitch route with my quarterback in there, okay, if I'm running a hitch, the ball's got to be on the way right now. Okay, it should be coming. And as they get older, that's going to happen. It might not happen to the varsity level, quite frankly, but they got to get used to it. And so this is where we start to groom them. So a quick turn drill, I start it real slow, and I give them a lot of time. Watch, turn, get all kinds of time there, okay? Build them a little bit. Turn, okay? Start to challenge them. Turn, okay? Ready? Low, turn, okay? Now at low, I can really give it to them a little bit. Ready? Turn. Okay, I'm not going to hurt anything. The challenge here with kids, if you go two kids, just be cognizant of this. They're going to rifle at each other's nuts. They're going to rifle at each other's head. So make sure that you are either having a coach with that one and really keep them disciplined. Now again, there's teaching moments that are all over the place, but he reminded me of camp, you know, where I do that like I do the high school kids, and then it goes awry. So you got to be ready for that. So now when they've done a bunch of stuff where they're not working terribly hard as far as running, a good point in practice, or this drill work, I think, you just go do it right out there. And we just have them open it up, take off on a go route, and you know how kids love this stuff, right? Okay, it's the first time I've outdone it. You won't like it. But what that does is, so they catch. Now, what kids do we have that can really fly or just run and catch the ball? Now, I know this is probably not, this is not rocket science. If the kid runs fast as the devil and can't catch, teach him. Teach him to do it. True story, we had a kid like that. He's a track stud. Several years ago, he could not catch a cold if he fell out of a boat. But what he could do is run, and we didn't want to take him much practice space, so we went cross field like this, and we just made him sprint, and we had an 8th grader up at practice, and we just had him throw fly routes. They're going to figure it out. they're going to figure it out. Me and I didn't catch them all, but he turned into an all-conference kid down the road. So that works really, really well. Johnny Jefferson drill? So, no, Jimmy Babcock. So this drill is teaching the kids to extend. And again, some of these things, you don't do them a ton. But again, the one play that wins the football game, right? Or in some cases loses. So when you're going to work on diving, it's very, very difficult where we live in Wisconsin to have nice soft ground where you can just, okay, let's make them dive. Plus some kids don't like to do that. Here they can learn how to do it to kind of protect their bodies. I would suggest if you can have a good relationship with the track people in town and you can get that pole jump pit out or high jump pit out, you know exactly how you do that drill. This one though allows you to do it with pads or without. We're just going to extend, get underneath the football. Okay, he's got to get underneath the football. You notice how he's trying to get into his body as quickly as he can so that he gets the catch. He's rolling onto his back so that he doesn't get called for a trap. He's getting that football up on his body. So that's our dive drill. And there again, you can use two kids back and forth to each other. They'll challenge each other. They'll take it as serious, I guess, as we coach them up on it. This is called the Chris Carter drill because I learned it from Chris Carter off of TV one day. Maybe the best one I've ever seen in terms of getting your hands out and ready to go. So you got to have your quarterback down low, or your passer. You're going to basically throw it right at his head. Okay? He's got to get his hands out, and his hands back, hands out. There's not a lot of variation to this. As you can see, where if you had a young kid and said he wants to be the next Jordy Nelson, okay, these are some things that really, really would work in terms of getting him to catch the football. So, all right, Jack, overhead real quick, show him this one. So if we add this at the high school level right to our rice drills. I didn't know if we'd get to it here, so I've moved it down the list because this is a really tough drill. But it's fun for kids, I will tell you that. So he jogs out, he's just gonna look for the football. He's got to go find the football. You can go right, left, have some fun with it. They got to find the football because a lot of kids can catch this one, okay, but they struggle looking up and going to get the football, and that's a good way to get them to react. So, all right, last thing that we work on. Yeah, I'm good for time here. About perfect. We've been about 5 minutes. So our how can you best hear me? Probably like this. So just stand there. So our Ray Berry drills. Ray Berry, you guys know Ray Berry's name, probably Hall of Fame wide receiver. And this series we stole straight out of UW lacrosse. We tweaked it a little bit 5 years ago, I believe it was. You catch the ball and bring it back to the quarterback. I'll talk more about it as we go. So he's running in place, facing one direction the first time through, then he'll flip. Okay, so I'm just going to go high in front. I'm going to go middle in front. I will go low in front. High behind. Okay, notice he's catch, cap, and lock it every time. Low behind. I probably run him through once or twice again, and so he doesn't know where it's going. All right? And of course, there's a line of kids. He's not going to catch all of them. You could do it that way, I guess, but you got kids standing in line then. So the way we run that drill always, for 100 years, was we'd catch it and bring it back. And it clicked with me one day that, you know what, for offensive guys, that's not a good habit to get into. And I just felt like it was infiltrating our offense. So we will run defensive Berry drills where he runs it, boom. He fires out like it's a pick six. And then we'll run, okay, it's offensive Berry day. So he's going to catch, turn up field, and get beyond the line and bring it back to me. So it gives him that habit of catching the ball and getting upfield. Now again, number of touches. So he just caught about 8 balls, and I haven't flipped him to the other side yet. Okay, so now I flip him there. So now you got almost 25 catches, not counting the rest of them. So you can see how in a very short amount of time, if you've got a small, I don't know how many kids you have on your teams, but if you only have 4 or 5 kids or 3 or 4 kids in a line, holy smokes, kids can catch a lot of footballs. And even if they're not going to be receivers down the road, anybody who's handling the ball, these are drills that are going to be beneficial. Okay, we have all of our running backs, receivers, and defensive backs. Every day they're doing some of these, every single day. The last thing that we would go to then once we get through our rituals, and like I said, each day in our practice, we would run some of those, and then we'd get to route work. Okay, so depends on what level you're at as far as the youth. how important are your routes versus just getting in the fundamentals of catching the football. We would take our 2 main routes, or I would if I was coaching youth football. I'd take our 2 main routes. I'd go out slant and the bubble. I'd add the bubble to it because to me that's like a run pass play. So, and they just rep the bejesus out of it. And I think when the kids learn it the right way, it kind of takes care of itself. Like I told the group this morning, the last 5 years as a Black River Falls, I never taught a pass route on our route tree because our kids took care of it. Our kids were that serious about football and loving playing wide receiver. And I can tell you one thing this stuff does. When we were first at Black River, we'd break for positions, 32 running backs, 2 receivers. By the time we left and how we changed things, it was almost exactly the opposite. And that's not good either. You want to have a balance. But it's a lot of fun. So, thanks, guys. If I can help with anything, let me know. I'd love to share the drills, and I can videotape him doing it if you want sometime, and we can send him to you. So, if you can help me, I'd love to hear it. So,
thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.